Hey everybody, it's James here from the Sawyer Family Reviews channel, and we're cooking right along with these DC Collectibles animated reviews. Today we're doing Batman the Animated Series figure number 7, one of my favorites, Man-Bat. Let's check him out. Okay, let's start off with Man-Bat in the box. As you can see, he's much larger than the standard figure, so Man-Bat had to be released in a big box. So we've got a big, large, wide box to show the full wingspan of Man-Bat here. It does still carry the traditional red that we've seen on Batman the Animated Series designs. We've got the small little amount of accessories he comes with, but he's a giant figure with 2 sets of wings, so don't expect him to come with a ton of extra stuff. We've got the Man-Bat name and number 7 along the side there. Batman the Animated Series logo, number 7, Man-Bat. Oh, sculpted by Irene Matar on that side. And the back is just a large red image of Batman on the black background, just like the figures where it has the flip-flop inside the package where it's black on red, and you can kind of see that behind Man-Bat. It's tough to make it out on the video, but he does have that in the box behind him. And then the Batman the Animated Series logo up top. All right, let's get him out of there. All right, Man-Bat's out of the box now. First of all, poster that's included shows that Man-Bat is from the episode, they say Leather Wings on here, but it's actually on Leather Wings. The first episode of Batman Animated that was produced, set the tone for the series, one of my favorite episodes. I really like how Batman's kind of still being hunted by the police and stuff in it. So anyway, next up is his accessories. As you can see, he comes with 3 little tiny bottles of medicine. They each have paint apps for the lid and for the label. They don't have that little white stuff at the bottom. That's just some sticky tack I put on there to keep them from falling off. These guys are so tiny. There's no way you'd see them if I just held them in my hand. I may actually do this with accessories from now on, though, because it's pretty nice. It helps focus in on them. And then he also comes with a little tiny tape recorder that the security guard was recording with. It's got paint apps all over, paint apps on the top, paint apps on the front. That's the one that he recorded Man-Bat and then kind of dropped under the thing, and Batman discovered it later. So some cool accessories, and I didn't expect him to come with much since he's such a big deluxe figure. So they're tiny, but they're cool. They're tiny but toony. Next up is, of course, the stand. So we've got the turnarounds on here, and just to bring it in, here is the actual sheet from the style guide, and as you can see, 2 of the poses match. They use the last pose and the first pose on here. It's such a small area to use, they couldn't do all 3 poses, so they went with those 2. He also comes with the rod and a clip that he's supposed to come with, but mine did not have the clip in the box. I don't use these anyway, so it's not a big deal to me. I don't really know how in the world you'd expect to put him on this style of base and have him stand up with that huge wingspan. The next thing he comes with are a pair of interchangeable arms. So he comes with these on in the package, which the wingspan on these guys, here's a ruler, you know that it's over a foot because it goes past there. I would say it's probably more like 13 inches across, maybe 14 inches across. So he's got that fully played out. And then he's got ones that are more angled down and back. So they're more like a resting pose. And I'll switch them out in a second here just to show you what they're like when I talk about the articulation, because I want to show you how they switch out. So let's get him off of the stand I've got him on. Put that off to the side. Now, articulation. He has a swivel where his feet meet his leg, his pant leg. I'm going to pop these off now, actually, just to make it a little bit easier to work with him. So those just both pop off from the body. They had these ridges on there, and I gotta tell you, when you first get the figure, it's actually quite loose. And most reviews will talk about that, where it's pretty loose and they pop off very easily, which is better than if they broke coming out. What I did to make mine a bit tighter was I just put a little layer of super glue inside each of these sockets and let it dry completely, like for a full day before I tried putting them back in again. And then I would test it and see, oh, it's a little bit loose still. I'd put in another layer, very thin layers, slowly but surely. I've heard floor polish can do the same thing, but it works fine for me for super glue, and now they're tight. They may get loose again over time if I'm constantly switching them, but I'm not going to be constantly switching them. Anyway, back to articulation. So he's got swivel where this foot meets the leg. There's no ankles or anything like that. Which is good because he's a heavy figure, would not support him anyway. He does have a knee joint. It's got very little movement. It is tight and does feel like it has a slight ratchet. Again, you want these leg joints to be tight, though. You don't want a ton of leg joints. You don't want a ton of articulation because he is a top-heavy figure. He's got swivel where his legs meet his body. They only swivel up. There's not much back movement at all. And then they hinge out. And then there's no waist rotation because the sculpt goes down where the pants sort of make a V shape. He's got a mid-torso crunch that goes all the way down to there, all the way up to there, which helps you get those flying poses, right? So you can get him up like that and crunched down like that. He's also got a swivel where that part attaches, so the entire upper torso can swivel around. The arms plug in, and this is the point where I'm going to show you the other arms. So they just plug in there. You see, mine's quite a bit tighter than it was when it was first released. So then they plug in there, and they can swivel all the way around and then hinge out. And it's the same on these guys. It's just that one joint where it plugs in, and then they can swivel up and down. No elbow joint, no nothing like that. These are probably the ones I'm going to use for display, just because it'll take up less space, although the other ones do make for a really impressive display. And then the head just kind of swivels around. It's got a little bit of up and down, but not a whole lot. I wish it had a little bit more, so that way when you're getting him into a flying pose, you could have his head tilted up a bit more, but still not that bad. All right, let's put that other smaller arm on here. And we'll put him back on the display base. There we go. Yeah, that was a major issue for me too. When I first got him out of the box, those arms just would not stay in there. They just fell right out. So that needed an immediate fix for me. Especially since this is one of my favorite figures from this line. And it's such a cool design from Batman the Animated Series. As far as height goes, he stands... Put it the right way, James. He stands right at about 6 3/4 inches to the top of his ears. And his height differential with Batman is pretty nice. So he's still a sizable character. He's not overly huge, but pretty sizable when compared to Batman, especially if you put out that open wing area. Paint job's really cool. Some people complain about the color of blue on his pants, but I think it matches the show pretty well. Other than that, he doesn't have a ton of paint apps. He's got the pink on the inside of the wings. He's got the inside of his mouth has a tongue. You can see it's pink inside there. I'll bring him up a little bit closer so you can see his head a little bit better. Sorry if it's sideways, but that's the best way I can do. You got the eyes that are yellow. I also like the way his eyes are shaped, where it's one feels like it's a bit more open than the other one. You see? I know it's sideways, but you get my drift. This figure is so cool. I love this figure so much. Like I said, it's one of my favorites of the line. It's a cool sculpt. I love the Man-Bat design. The original Kenner Man-Bat was one of my favorite of the Batman animated figures. So with this one, when it was coming out, I was super excited about it because I was very happy to get an update on Man-Bat. Such a cool villain from Batman the Animated Series. And originally, he retailed at like $20. As you go back and look at some old reviews of him, like of the time, people were a little bit like, oh, for $20, you know, you better get a lot. Nowadays, $20 gets you nothing when it comes to the figure world. And back then, it got you this big deluxe figure with interchangeable arms and little tiny accessories and all that stuff and good amount of articulation. It was a good time. This is one of the reasons why I'm going back and look at this line, because there's a lot to appreciate from it. Okay, that wraps up Man-Bat. Next time around, we're going to take a look at... Well, I've already recorded Poison Ivy, but that's the next video that'll be up after this. And then after that is Killer Croc and Baby Doll. I hope you're enjoying these videos. Please stick with me, and I'll see you guys next time.